Good evening. We're having the September 10th, 2013 Raleigh Board of Water Commissioner meeting. Present are the commissioners Roy Ricker, Stu Dalzell, and Tim Toomey. And if we could have everybody state their name to say that they're here.
Glenn Smith, primary operator.
Bob Murray, selectman.
Ron Keefe, highway surveyor.
Larry White, resident, and also finance committee.
Jamie Snow, Finance Committee.
Laura Hamilton, business manager.
Okay, thank you. First order of business is accept the minutes for the 9/3/2013 meeting.
I make a motion, we accept.
Do I have a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Second order is signed purchase orders.
$51 bills.
Incidentally, John Rezer isn't here tonight. Has anybody,
On
has he
vacation.
called in?
He's on vacation today.
Okay, we need to discuss that. Well, we should discuss it right now. Did John talk to you at all? Stu?
No.
So he took a vacation and didn't talk to his board?
I didn't hear anything.
Is there a policy that you guys are aware of that for vacation time?
I think you should have been notified, the other chairman.
Yeah. Is there a policy when you were here, when you were chairman? Do you think we should come up with a policy?
Probably should.
Okay. So, any suggestions?
I think, I have at least a 24-hour notice, call you the day before or something, say I gotta take a day off tomorrow, personal day, vacation day, or whatever.
Well, that's for personal times, but a vacation?
Well, I don't know if he just was using a vacation day up, I have no idea. Just one day, is that what it is, or is it all week?
He was out Friday to Wednesday, and then I'm out Thursday and Friday and Monday next week.
Okay. Well, I think, I would suggest that we would require a 2-week notice before someone takes a vacation. Personal days is something else. Sick days, obviously, they call all the time, so what do you folks think? You think 2 weeks is a normal thing for
At least a week.
business? What do they do in Georgetown, Glenn? If you wanted to take a vacation, would you just call in and say I'm
24-hour notice.
24?
We do the highway department.
2 weeks.
Okay. Well,
Excuse me.
I think we gotta do something.
What are they doing in Lake Department?
I'm not sure, Stu, it's probably at least a week.
Okay.
Sign it ahead of time.
Okay.
I'll take it.
I
How
you
about a
know,
$72 thing? At least get 3 days to know what's going on.
well, last meeting, we had a lot of things we gave them to do, and then,
I think a week is fair.
well, I'm gonna split the difference. I propose we take 10 days notice for a vacation. And that gives us time, ample time to figure out what the schedule would be, or the requirements of our responsibility here. So, do I have a second for that?
I'll second it.
All right, so this will be in the minutes. From here on out, we gotta notify Mr. President, we need 10 days notice before he decides to take a vacation again.
Yeah, all employees.
Well, I mean, the way it should work, is there a
So
policy
we
for
fill
the
out-
employees?
We fill out slips and give them to John, and
Yeah.
he signs them.
Okay. But see, that gets out of our realm, because we have him working for us. And then he is overseeing everybody.
Okay.
So if he has, how many days does he have? Or is
Usually
it-
most people know ahead of time, you know, within a couple of weeks. You
Yeah.
know, we knew Rob was gonna be out this week, like 2 months ago.
Yeah,
You
okay.
know, he had made reservations and,
Yeah, we're a small department, we can
we
we
talked
probably
to each
accommodate
other.
a 10-day
Yeah.
thing, so,
Yeah, sure, that's fair, that's fair,
I need to put a memo together
okay.
and say at the board meeting of September 10th, the board voted to, going forward, adopt a notification or a request for vacation to be 10 days
Okay.
of the superintendent.
Is there anything in the union contract for the union employees?
I'm sure there is. I'm sure there's something in there. I don't have it memorized, Glenn.
Yeah, I don't know as we,
I've asked for a copy of them.
yeah.
Okay, we'll handle that. Are we all in favor here? I didn't hear that.
So,
Yeah, there's no, there hasn't been a vote.
Oh, it hasn't been a vote.
okay, so 10 days notification for a vacation to be requested of the chairman. Do we need to put it at a meeting? You want to put it at a meeting, and then decide at a meeting as a group?
It's entirely up to you, gentlemen. I just think something needs to be done.
Okay. So why don't we have it at a meeting also?
Okay,
And personal time, obviously, that's standard procedure of, it's got to notify, once again, the chairman of the department. And preferably an email to the board members that he will be taking a vacation, just as a notification. Can you read that back to me?
so I'm going to draft a memo to John from the board that you voted tonight to have a policy that notice should be given to the chairman 10 days prior to any vacation time, and that an email should go out to all the board members. I don't have everybody's email. And the personal day, he can notify you the day before. So I'll draft that and bring it to the next board meeting,
Yeah.
and then you can sign it,
All right, so that's the motion.
okay? And
Do I have-
Roy seconded it.
Roy seconded it, and all in favor?
Right.
Aye. Okay. Purchase orders. Okay, so a blade from North Shore Power Equipment. Univar. It's one of our new vendors for
Chemicals for what?
expendable chemicals. These haven't been authorized by John, have they?
He was out.
So in his absence, Glenn, can you verify these
I
things?
signed it, no, they didn't.
Glenn did.
That's my request.
Yeah, but the super is gonna. Hot Cross Chemicals, sodium hypochlorite.
That's chlorine.
So this is now liquid, right? We don't do
Yes.
the powder anymore? Or are we still
For
doing
chlorine.
powder? Yeah.
We're doing liquid chlorine. I don't think you ever did powdered chlorine.
No.
What was this, what was
We do
the
powdered lime,
powder line, okay.
and the caustic soda is the liquid replacement for the lime at well number 2. We're still using lime at well number 3 and 5. Until the treatment plant goes online.
Put that stack over there, please. $19.92 for CDELS. Is that typical, Laura?
Yes,
Is that a monthly bill?
it's a monthly bill.
We done with the eradication of knotweed Japanese?
We have one more spraying possible. It looks pretty good out there. We have 3 dead pine trees that need to be replaced. And I will get C-Camp back in here to do the final report on that consent order.
Does the spraying kill the,
It
Pine
looked
trees?
good, yeah, no. I gotta, in fact, I gotta talk to Brent to see if we might have to do a little weed whacking so we can replant
Yeah.
trees.
That's out back.
Yeah, I'll be working on that the next week or 2, and I will bring it to the board. I'm hoping to wrap that one up this fall.
this town of Raleigh will petty cash for postage?
Yes, for DEP. Sampling reports. That's a monthly, due by the 10th.
$6.97.
Yes, because we need return receipt to prove that we actually sent them in. I learned my lesson there, right, Glenn?
Okay. Knowles,
And they did put the number of every vehicle as asked.
yeah. That's good. How we doing on the budget for fuel this year?
So that's right in front of you, the budget is right here, and fuel is on there.
Can you find the fuel on there?
So our budget for fuel is $25,000, and we use $1,400 or almost 6%.
We have $23,502.61 left that we have not used yet.
And right now, we've expended 2 months into it.
So we're about 20% into our budget, so we're way behind, but
We spent 14.
we got Glenn here now driving too, so we picked up, our fuel's starting to pick up.
Did we get Glenn's new bicycle yet?
Right.
That's 197 dollars and 39 cents. Last month was just under 500, this month was just over.
I thought you were gonna get me a new electric car. Take it over and plug it in the electric department.
You want one of those Stingray bikes with the big handlebars, or you want?
I need one of the mountain bikes with the big heavy tires.
Does that get you up to the tower?
Well, that keeps it from going flat. I need a ski tow to get up to the tower.
Oh shit, I'm signing the wrong place. Laura,
What?
you just white out this here when you.
Yeah.
Okay, so the commitment needs to be signed. Anything unusual in the commitment?
No, so in your packet too, Mr. Delzell asked me to give you the average bill for commitment, and I did a year's work. It's in your packet there. The average bill this month, I believe, is $120. A year ago, we pumped 16,000 gallons. This year, we pumped 12, same period, so people are conserving water.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so we're gonna meet our budget. So that's in your packet there, Roy. Can you show Tim?
Where is it?
That's 90 gallons, isn't it?
This one
Million
here?
gallon, I'm sorry, yeah, did I say thousands? I meant millions.
Average
Yeah.
bill, okay.
Yeah. So that's a year's snapshot of the average bill and the billing commitment and the number of bills that we send out.
All right, so we jumped because of the new rates from 87, 55, 84, 118. So we jumped up 143 and 120 the last 2 months, right?
Right, but it's also summer usage, so we have a lot more. You can see we did the same thing last year.
Yeah, I got you. So if you compare
30% increase.
August, then you'll compare September
Yeah, but we're
15.
pumping less
So
water.
the average has gone up no more than roughly $30.
I surveyed most of the, yeah, it's not,
Yeah.
it's right on target. The
Okay,
rates are right on target. All we need to do is pump the water now.
okay. What do you think? We actually pump more water though, that's another point.
Less water than last year though, the same period.
No, according to this, well, we billed out 200,000 gallons on August,
No, it-
208,000 on
September though.
208,000 last year, and this year,
Well, money, yeah, because we pumped more water last year than we did this year.
we pump more water this year. Yeah.
16. So here's your gallon usage, and here's your gallon. We pumped 16 million gallons last September, we pumped 12. But our-
Okay,
but
this is
our
the
rate-
bill, this is, the
Right.
rate is different, okay.
Right, but people are conserving because of the new rates.
Right, so they're going from 16,000 or 15,000.
Right, you can see that
Yeah, well,
it was pretty equal in August, but September we're pumping less.
well, September is really reflective of August anyway, right?
It's your August usage, that's correct.
So we went down.
We went down in pumpage, yeah.
we're down like a tune of almost 4 million gallons.
Yep. So our rates are set based on, prior history and 5-year average. So I watch this stuff carefully
You know,
so that we meet our, revenue to meet our budget.
well, do we have like a particularly wet August that would prevent them from using more watering, or what do you think? I don't think so. I mean, you think it's conservation? You think we have a trend going on here for conservation, or what?
Well, the rates are gonna do that for you.
Yeah,
Smart to be up.
And
yeah.
and I was trying to remember, last summer was really dry,
Yeah, we had a water
really
ban.
early.
Yeah.
We had a water ban in
Early,
July.
you're right.
This year it rained till the beginning of August.
Okay.
So
Well, I'll be
weather may have something to do with it.
I'll be bringing that along every month so you can watch.
Well, I'd like John to report on that.
Okay.
Okay, so we got the commitment?
Yep.
Okay. Anything jump out at us here on this?
No?
Okay. Sorry to keep you here, Ron.
Alright.
We're running about 25 minutes late here. Okay, next order of business is appointment with Ron Keefe, a highway surveyor, to discuss the Route 133 water break.
I was in here either right before I was appointed or right after I was appointed to discuss this issue with you guys on fixing that. The DB and Mr. Ricker agreed that a heavier roller should have been used. And it is still in the same condition, if not worse. There was a bump out there. I went up to town hall today. Scott paid about $408,000 for that road to be paved. And the road was not put back. Even at the time, Scott approached John and Mr. Martin regarding that and asked for it to be fixed, and it hasn't been.
Okay.
And while I was up there measuring it, I put a level on it. You got about a ½ inch difference on one spot. You got the plow trucks bouncing up in the air.
Yeah.
Not only that, but further down, right around the same time or a week or so before that happened, there was another patch that's a ½ inch down. And if you go over to Bradford in summer, you have sinkholes in that one that are about 1.5 inches deep.
Okay.
So what I've come to the conclusion, and what I'm going to start having you guys do is actually, obviously when you have a water main break, you have no control over grabbing and filling out a road opening permit. But I'm going to, any future work to be done by the water department, I'm going to have the water department fill out a road opening permit like any other gas or electric does in town.
Okay.
The trenches that the water department have touched in the past few years, and we've paid hundreds of thousands of dollars on new roads, the trenches are deplorable. They're falling in, they're sinking. And with having you guys fill out a road opening permit, I'll give you an example, like the trench up on 133. It says it'll be backfilled with flowable fill or approved by the highway department. It also says that the shoulders will be gravelled and loomed. The shoulders are still, to this day, grindings. But I know for a fact that that trench was not filled with flowable fill, it was filled with grindings.
Okay. One thing here, Ron, we gotta keep in mind, we don't have him here tonight, so we're gonna have to probably bring this up when he comes back in, so we can discuss this and make this more formal.
Thing is, we gotta get some prices. 'cause
Well, my
we're
question
out of
is,
time.
when Scott was on,
Prices are, I did do the procurement in May as requested, they're in your packet, along with the trench permit and the Sampson paving bill from 2 years, it's right there in your packet.
that was another thing I wanted to know.
The patch is 30 by 30, and the only one that wants the job is Bronx.
That's
Because-
somebody who you need, they have the big enough equipment to do.
Yeah, the other guy, I called Arrogate, they want to pave the whole one, their machine, the machine that we want to bring in is 30 by 30. You know, they do Logan Airport and they do big roads, the
Yeah.
kind of machine that, you know.
Time. We get pricing to do this.
Yeah, they're right in, they're right in.
Did John meet with Ron out at that site and go over what's needed out there?
Bowen met with me after the last meeting,
Okay.
and you guys discussed it and said that you were gonna do something. My question is when Mr. Rizzer is out, is the foreman stepped up to his plate like they do on the highway when Scott was out? The foreman would become acting superintendent while he was on vacation?
There's no formal protocol like that. I mean, his responsibility as primary operator is make sure people are drinking safe water here. That's right at the top of the pyramid.
So when John's out, there's no one in charge?
When John's out, John shouldn't be out, he should be responsible for any decisions made before this board.
No, because I have an issue, because when I came down the other day to talk to John about this, he told me to go see Laura. And I'm having a real issue with that the superintendent's asking me to go see, and I want to get your position right, Laura, what is it?
Business manager.
Business manager.
Yeah.
John should be fully aware of it.
Right.
He should not be directing me to Laura.
Well, absolutely. So I think that,
And this has gone on long enough. This patch is going on almost 2 years.
well, it's a year. They were
No,
out
the
there.
product was- I talked to Scott 2 or 3 times on it.
Was it
And
two-
they agreed with Scott 100% that it needed to be taken care of. And I brought it up to the board a couple of times and nothing has been done.
No, Ron's right, it was
And
September
it
28th,
definitely needs to be done.
2011.
11? Really?
2011.
And
Yeah.
according
So
to
the
this,
thing is,
It's
we're
going
getting,
on 2 years.
according to this road opening permit, it says minimum of 2 years. You guys are going to be responsible for any trench work down the road.
and the thing is, we're getting late in the season, we've got to get on this and get going with it.
Okay, so next time when John comes in, we gotta get him involved with this, okay? To get direction of how we're gonna take care of this. And so is it possible that you can put together a letter to us stating what's wrong with that roadway and what needs to be done? So we can give it to anybody that's gonna, provide us with quotes, or did you already do that, Ron? I don't know.
This is my second time in here, and I've already, Scott's talked to Roy 3-4 times, telling him what needs to be done. Talk to John, we'll talk to Rizzo. I mean, how many more letters or times you want me to talk to you?
Yeah.
It's simple. You call your superintendent, pick up the
We
phone.
got bids
with
already,
3
correct, Laura?
Right there in your packet.
I can't find it, so I'm
I'm
asking.
sorry. I know there's a lot of stuff in your packet tonight. All right, so here's your trench permit that we received.
Okay.
Here's the sand, and here's the quotes, and here's what Bronx, and the emails from the Arrogate telling me the patch is too small for them. They're gonna
There's
pass
also-
on this project.
There's also Busby or Bisbee, who has the equipment to do it.
Do we have this money in the budget? Somewhere else, is that under
Several
Water
maintenance
breaks,
or?
it's under water breaks. But like Ron's saying, this should have been in the budget 3 years ago, or 2 years ago.
What I'm trying to say is, I think that we should,
Because we
take
already,
one of these prices tonight and vote on it, get this thing moving and get it done.
Well,
We can talk this thing
Wait a
to
minute.
death.
Yeah.
It's time to fix it,
all right.
long overdue.
We don't want it to happen again, Stu. So Ron went into the meeting last night, and then there's a memo from Debbie Egan on road opening permits. So here's something here we ought to adopt right now. Roy, you want to read that?
From, town administrator.
But wait, before you do that, it would have been real nice if we had our superintendent here.
I realize that, but he's not.
So we're gonna have to make sure that he gets, this is a protocol, okay?
This gentleman shouldn't have to keep coming in here to get.
Well, that's why I'm saying we should pick the lowest bidder here tonight and get it done. 'Cause
But
we're
I-
running out of time and they're gonna be busy.
One other thing, Mr. Ricker, and I don't wanna put all the blame on John, is the last time I was at this meeting and approached the board should have made sure that the superintendent followed through with the job. It's not put all the blame on John.
Yeah.
Scott approached Martin, Rizzer, and even talked to you, and I came up before this
Yeah.
board. This board failed on top of John. They should have made sure he came through. And I want this done before the first snow flies. I'm sick of hitting the 10-wheeler off it.
Well, I agree 100%.
And I also want to see the 3 bids from the first time it was done, because I don't think it really, I could be wrong, I don't think it went out to bid.
No, when we have a water break, it's always been thing down here. We have a couple different guys that we call, because it has to be done, right away. And we call, I think we have Johnson, Sampson, and somebody else.
I think on a road like that, you're gonna have to put those
That
on the
needs to be
side.
Brock's aggregate.
You have 18-wheelers and you have school buses and real major vehicles going over a state-numbered
I
road.
said that from the beginning, we didn't
Yes,
have
you did.
enough roll.
But I'm done writing letters and coming before this board and talking to,
What was the, we have a, what did we decide in the last, what was the minutes from the last meeting?
I have one right here. Right here.
Yeah, I don't see a speed bump there, Ron, but I see, a infraction, the nice paving job that was there before we had to repair a water main. I wouldn't classify it as a speed bump.
are you an engineer? You know
Yeah.
anything about paving?
I
Then you
a lot
know we're
about it.
supposed to be backfilled with flowable fill.
Well, if
Actually-
it wasn't done there, then why? Your guys were out there at the time that they were back.
Our guys was not on the paving job.
So they weren't on the paving job?
Nope.
Did they fill in with flowable fill at all?
No,
Or
it's
did
grindings.
they do a top coat of
It is
some ABC
grindings.
material?
It is grindings, and the grindings are still on the shoulder.
Okay.
That is a speed bump. If you put a level on it, you have a 1/2 inch in some sections.
Is that a speed bump? A 1/2 inch?
If I take you up there in a 10-wheeler right now, you'll feel the back end of that truck bounce right across the road.
Okay.
And Mr. Ricker has gone over with an 18-wheeler. I can bring down
Did you
Pam.
call it a speed bump?
It needs to be fixed, Tim.
Okay.
Just, no more arguing about it, let's just pick somebody out of the lowest bidder and,
Yeah.
that Ron's happy with and get the thing fixed. Because these people are gonna start being busy.
What do you
You're
want?
not gonna be able to get these people, we wait any longer.
And I'd also like the summer in Bradford, that's even newer, and that's 1.5 inches down.
We don't have a price on that one yet, we'd have to get a price.
I
We
just
do
saw
have a
that
price
today
on
when I
Maple.
went up to measure this.
No, I'm just saying, we do have
Yeah.
a price from, 2 or 3 different places for the Havel Street one.
Yeah.
We could get going on that tonight,
Yeah.
and that other one, we'd have to, get a bid on it. We
No.
don't have a bid.
So what date was this?
So that is
May 1st of 2013. So Ron, you came in and we talked about it, and so
Nothing was
therefore
done.
nothing was done. And so I think what we were talking about is the price. What was the price?
What's the plan for fixing that?
You gotta grind it down to flowable fill, dig it back out.
Have you thought about infrared?
I don't want an infrared, I want it dug out. I want the flowable fill, I want it done the right way.
Aggregate didn't want to bid on it. Bay State didn't want to bid on it.
So you wanted to dig the
Paving
whole-
was 45
The whole trench right now?
for,
Now, let's keep in mind too, that I know it was raining and the cop car was going fast. but Mass Civ was air flooded. Right when you hit that patch, you went airborne. And right this past winter, we had a head-on collision right at that bump. So if it ain't a speed bump, we're getting a lot of accidents there, and they're all in the police report and fire department. So there has to be something with that bump. It's on the worst corner of 133.
No, I agree 100%, you know.
I just don't want this to happen again, Ron.
Well, that's what
That's
I'm
why,
gonna
you know, I
start
don't think
Well,
we
for
should.
now on, we won't be,
Trench
we're
run.
gonna have to make out a trench.
Well, we hired, we hired a contractor to come in there and take care of it.
Not a heavy enough roller.
Not a heavy enough roller. I think we need to sit down and figure out where the little rollers are acceptable and where you have larger volumes of
You take
trucks.
Havel Street,
Well,
Central Street,
let's
Route
walk,
1.
let's walk through this, okay? We repaired the water break, we turned the water system back on.
Yep.
We had your guys out there, and we backfilled as much as we could
Yep.
the thing. So at that point, just explain to me, because I haven't seen this thing from soup to nuts. What happens at a certain point? Do they
Well,
backfill within a foot of where the pavement service is?
When you're ready to dig it out, and when you're ready to pave it, you're supposed to dig it out and put the flowable fill. Obviously, you're not gonna put flowable fill or any type of rocks around the water main, because you can puncture it. So at a certain point, I believe around the water main, you usually do some type of softer material, so not to puncture.
You
Punch
can, you can do flowable fill all the way to the bottom.
Now, on the paving job,
The
we,
problem with the flowable fill on a patch like that is, a lot of times it will react differently than the road around it, and you end up with a speed bump.
the gas
We've
company,
used a lot of, I've used the infrared a lot on 97 and
the
133.
trouble with infrared is when you infrared a road, you destroy its integrity. The hot top around it becomes glass. And you see that on the west side of 133 around the manholes. As soon as a plow hits it, it shatters. It loses its integrity. The road in the gas company used flowable fill in town. None of their trenches are sinking.
Okay, so getting back to that, the flowable fill, your,
This is the thing you want me to read.
the town has a road opening permit.
Obviously, you won't have need to do the insurance or the bonding because we're all covered, I believe, under the same insurance.
Okay, and then all excavation trenches beneath the pavement must be backfilled with flowable fill approved by the highway department. Now, how come you weren't out there to approve that?
We don't fall around utilities patching.
Okay.
We hope
Excavated
the company
material should
behind
be
knows what
removed
they're doing.
all the way from the worksite. Pavement should be restored with 4-inch bituminous concrete binder course. In other words, who's inspecting this road repair job?
Well, utility companies fill that out and have to do it, and they're responsible for 2 years. So if
Okay,
they do it the right way, you ain't gonna be sinking.
I understand that, but I don't want this to happen again. I don't want to be talking about this in the next job. So how can we make sure that this doesn't happen again?
You're gonna have to fill out.
And then he's not here, and so we can't really talk about ensuring that this is not gonna be happening again.
By making out that permit, we're liable for 2 years for that.
I understand.
Section.
If you do it according to that, that's actually copied from the state.
Yeah.
That's,
No, I'm just saying, by us doing the trench permit, which is a good idea,
yep.
and we're liable for that problem for 2 years.
So why wasn't this given to the contractor that helped us out in repairing that road work?
Because it was not an expected trench, it was an emergency. It was wide open, the road was heaved up,
Okay,
so there was no time. So my suggestion is, on something like that, you skip point A and you come to me and you say, okay, listen, we got an emergency going on, and you just finish signing it out and we get it right back to you.
yeah. Not that I wanna know, Ron, because I'm gonna be down the street watching TV, okay? So, but I want these guys to be able to do that, okay? I don't wanna micromanage them. They're supposed to be doing that, and he's supposed to be ensuring that this is supposed to be happening in a certain way. So if they contract with a contractor to come out there, and they know that they're gonna have flowable fill, I don't understand why we have, fill out there that's not even meet the specifications of the road permit in this town.
It wasn't only that, but right after the job was done, it was a speed bump and Scott came right away.
And Scott came here right away?
Talked to John.
And what
Yes, he
did,
did.
Talked to Mr. Ricker.
okay.
Within 30 days, Scott told me we had to do something. I brought it up to, John brought it up to Scott. We
Mhm.
had to do something, straighten it out. And it's just been getting passed and passed and passed, and
This
as far as
was
I'm
in two-
concerned, the time has come, we gotta fix this, we're gonna get it fixed before winter.
This was 2011 and was here today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've done our part, we've come to you guys numerous times.
Okay. And the biggest problem in your estimation, Ron, is that they didn't use flowable fill. If they had used flowable fill, would they have had a
Flowable
problem?
fill, and they used the driveway roller.
They use a driveway roller.
The company did it, don't get me wrong, it's phenomenal doing driveways and doing, you know, maybe a little patch and cross street. When you come to a massive road like that, that's got the traffic and 18 wheelers, you can't use a 2-ton, 2.5-ton roller, you need a lot larger roller.
Okay.
It ain't up to me to be following around contractors, making sure they do the right job.
All right. So would it make sense for our crew to, before they hire a contractor to do a job on this road in this town, to contact the street highway supervisor, the highway supervisor, and then make sure that everybody's on the same page about taking care of this?
I think that, and I think, I don't know how he is, but I think maybe, no offense to you because I haven't seen your work, I think the crew itself needs to go to trench school to learn how to backfill some of these trenches, because the paving is one thing, they come in, they can pave it. The people putting the trench and backfilling it, if they're not tampering it at the right levels like they should be, you're gonna have what you have at somewhere on Bradford Street, which is 1.5 inches sunk down, because it wasn't compacted right. Which is not the paving crew now, on that
I was
situation.
drilled in my head years ago, being brought up in hot top. Hot top's only good as the foundation underneath it.
Yeah.
So I think it goes back,
A little kid up, I was taught that.
This goes back to what I said back in, was it May?
first.
Yeah. Why doesn't the street department take over at a certain point after we repair a water break?
Because you guys
They
are a
have
utility
enough to
company, we're not. You guys should be able to hire a contractor and do this yourself, you should have, and that falls back on you.
Yeah, I know it does.
Well, it's been going on long enough, you guys gotta even do something.
On that one up there, Ron, just so we're straight here, we have a price from
Rocks.
2 different vendors. Brock's being the lowest of the 2 numbers. The other 2 people decided not to bid against it, unable to quote on the 4 prices that we contacted. Now, they have one of these, if we pick one of these people to come in, do we still want to go up and dig that out down to the main?
No,
Or do you think that?
I'd say take that hot top out, maybe go down a foot, 1.5 feet, and come up from that. No, don't go back down to the main.
That's what I'm
That's
asking.
pretty, that was deep. You remember you being up there on the water break. That was,
With that being said, I'd like to make a motion that Brock's is $600 cheaper than the other company that we have here. I make a motion that we call Brock's and get this done.
Now, is that trench settling at all?
no, it's
Or
still
is it-
high.
It's just high.
We
It's high.
tried, so we
There's,
got 4 in
if you
here.
go over, you
Then
can
you're
pull a
back.
string, you hit some of these, but it is,
But if we take the hot top out of
2
there,
people did not want to bid on it. Contacted 4
put
people.
new base and new top, or just new top?
I'd have to look,
So that-
I'd
so
have
that
to
it ends
physically
up-
go up and look at it once it's popped up, but I know under it is grindings. I know they dug it out down to the deep, I actually think it was just minimum 6 inches. What it requires, but
So
Well, that-
who's gonna tell the contractor what to do out there?
you have a superintendent,
He's not here tonight.
that's your job to tell him to get the job done. You made it perfectly clear earlier when you made the
That's why I
application.
think, I think a memo is in order saying there wasn't flowable fill out there, they've gotta correct it, and they gotta do it over. Does that say that in this memo here from the town?
At least if we have a road opening permit for each trench that we have to do, then something like 133's gotta have different paving specs than Curly Street.
Exactly. I mean, you take Pearly Ave,
So
you
at
can
least-
use the
at
small
least we
roll
can
and
have-
stuff and get away with
Yes,
it.
you can.
133 Central Street, Route 1, 1A, we cannot do that. Perfect example, center of town, between the Baptist church and the market. I mean, look at the mess that is right there.
Mr. Chairman, you did make it clear earlier on the vacation that the guys answer to John and John answers to you, so I think you guys need to sit down with John and have a long conversation with him.
I don't want anything get lost in translation, Ron. That's why I think that we need to correct it, and we need to have more input from you. And then if it needs to be a meeting next time, you know, we'll
He's making that by having the trench permit. You know, that's gonna take care of the situation. Because if 2 years down the road, if
So
it
the
ain't fixed
procedure-
right, we have a permit to do it, we
procedure
didn't
is
do it
to
right.
fill out the trench, the street opening permit. Right?
Yep.
At this point?
The selectmen sign off, I sign off,
Yeah.
and Brent signs off.
Okay.
Well, they made him
And on that street
Yeah,
opening
motion
permit,
to
you'll have
go a little bit
the
there.
required
Yes.
pavement for
I'll second.
whatever street we're on, correct?
Nothing changes on 133 on the flow fill and
The
everything.
thing
It'll be
is,
the size
it's
of the
waiting a little
road.
longer. These hot top companies get busy.
I know.
They only get 6
We're
to
under
8
the
weeks,
gun.
depending on the weather.
We're under the gun.
And he seconded it. I made the motion, he seconded it.
We can talk this to death, it's time to get it done.
Yeah, so unfortunately, we're gonna have to step forward here and then do the superintendent's job of getting this thing taken care of, so I would like a motion to get this thing taken care of.
I make a motion that we accept the Brock's bid, which is the lowest bidder out of the 4.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Before we move on, can I
And then,
mention?
well, and one thing, also, we've gotta make sure that the superintendent follows protocol with this memorandum from September 10th of 2013. Okay, did you read this?
No, I haven't finished reading.
Why don't you read that and let's get this thing on record, okay?
Mr. Chairman, can I mention something here
Yeah.
before we move on? All right. On September 3rd, there was a propane gas tank put on the ground here. And there was not a permit taken out. And when the building inspector was called for an inspection, he was told it's in the mail. And here's the application, September 3rd, so it was not in the mail. They never had the permit. There it is there, just the application.
Is that in the packet?
This totally upsets me, it's unacceptable.
Well,
Heaven forbid if there was an accident out there.
well, are we doing things because we're the town that doesn't need permits, or do we need to have permits like everybody else?
You
Yeah,
need a
permits.
permit, there's no charge, if town, there's no charge for the permit.
That
But
requires,
Well, I understand that,
The
but
man came up for an inspection, it was 3/4 backfill.
Tim, that type of project requires a gas permit and a fire department permit for both inspections. What Sue has in his hand is the fire department permit, which he was told was in the mail. And when he finally got a copy of it, it was dated the same day that they put the tank in the ground.
okay, so,
September 3rd.
okay,
So it's,
okay, so who signed this?
Man, what's the whole?
So who did this, Hole in Oil? Is this their
But
fault?
the water department dug the hole
Okay. I'm just
without
asking.
getting, making sure the permits were there. Then the building inspector was told it was in the mail. Which was not the case. The fire chief knew nothing about it.
Who told the building inspector that it was in the mail?
I don't know.
Okay. All right,
You want me to read this?
read that please, Roy, and then let's move on. We got
This
these
is
two
from,
guys from Whitewater waiting outside.
It's from Debbie Egan, Town Administrator, for the road opening permits. Please accept this from as official notification from the Board of Selectmen to the Water Department that it must follow the town's road opening permit process. Attached is a road opening permit form. If the Water Department performs the work in-house with town labor and equipment, the Water Department is the applicant, and the superintendent will need to complete the form. However, you will not need to file an insurance certificate and post a bond with the treasurer. If the Water Department contracts this work out, the contractor is the applicant and will need to complete this form and submit an insurance certificate to the highway department and post a bond with the treasurer. In emergency situations, please contact the highway surveyor regarding the necessary to open the road under emergency conditions. In these situations, the permit can be filled out rapidly. If you have any questions, please contact highway surveyor Ron Keefe or Debbie.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, when we first started this discussion, there was some question about whether there was bidding 2 years ago on one of those, actually the one we're talking about. And you mentioned that there was contractors that you have on call, basically, to do that type of work. I would just like to ask Mr. Keefe if in fact he knows who those contractors are, if he has a list of those contractors.
I know who they mentioned, but I always thought when any patch or any, I talked to Debbie earlier today regarding something, and she said that if a contractor exceeds $5,000
Right.
during the course of the year, it doesn't have to be necessarily on one job, they just still have to get 3 bids.
Right.
So I'm willing to bet that in the course of 1 year that one of those contractors may exceed $5,000, and probably they shouldn't be used after that, it should be going out to bid.
Okay. My point is that if in fact you're using standby contractors, Ron should at least have a list and approve that list as to who those contractors are that's doing work on his roads. And believe me, the little sign that says, yes, I do own the road, that's on the back of Ron's pickup truck.
Yep.
I mean, you've known who we've been using for the last 2 years. I mean, when I first came on, we bounced back and forth a couple between the two. It was whoever was available.
Right.
And I mean, they're both very good contractors, but they're not big enough machines for something like 133 or Central Street or.
But it also goes back to the foundation, which you guys are the last one to touch, and the trenches are falling apart.
Yeah.
Now
I agree 100% with the foundation part and the flow go fill part. It's got to be done.
Mr. Chairman, this is much too serious a matter to slide under the table. We have to be sure this never happens again. It was almost filled in with, only by the building inspector's luck. The gas inspector was not working that day because he works like every other day, but he was able to get a hold of him. They had almost filled in when they got here.
What about the fire permit?
They never got it. They just filled out the application. The fire chief knew nothing about it till after the fact.
And that was just a couple of weeks ago?
September 3rd,
All right.
we could go today.
Well, I think what we ought to do is, number one, we'll adopt this memo and the policy for filling out road permits and make sure that that's on record, that we took a motion and we said we're making sure going forward. Not saying that it wasn't here as a policy before, we don't have time to look at what the policy was before, but going forward, we're gonna take, we're gonna fill out all kinds of permits, and inclusive of building permits and everything else. This is a street opening permit, you're pulling up a building permit, the building permit. All these protocols should be done. The only thing we duck is the fees, I think, to file for a permit, right?
You're exempt from the
original
fees,
fee for
but
one.
you have to do the permit
Right.
process.
And so that's the first motion, make sure that the superintendent is responsible for filling out that permit. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye. I
And
just
also,
had one question before we
Go ahead.
move on to Stewie's thing. On this thing from Brock's, of what they're going to do on that bid that we have, Laura, can you take a copy of that and give it to Ron and make sure that he's satisfied with that? And, so if there's anything that's gonna be changed, we can take care of it before the work is even done or started.
Well, I think we should, John, when he gets back from his vacation, I think John should take that document and make sure that
No, I'm just saying, Ron, just give him a copy.
Mr. Keith is happy with this quote before we just, make them contingent upon them satisfying all the needs of the town.
What I'm saying is before Brox comes in to do this job,
Yeah.
I just like Ron to look at it and make sure that everything is on here that he wants, and just make sure it's all set before we have somebody come in and halfway through the project, Ron notices it's not being done the way
I know, but
his
that's-
specifications.
I understand where you're coming. I think
Yeah.
our superintendent.
I realize that too, but that's not happening, so let's do it this way and get it over and done with and move on, please.
How fast can this happen?
It's a matter of making a phone call and getting it scheduled, correct?
That's one of the patch, are probably gonna jump on it in between jobs, moving through town.
But I mean, we're getting late in the season, we gotta
You're
get
getting
going.
real late, this is when most towns start paving. And can I just say, Mr. Chairman, in regards to what Stewie brought up, if the proper permit is not pulled on some, burying something like that and you have an explosion, the insurance company of this town might not cover this building. They could have said you need to follow proper protocol,
Yeah.
and you would have been stuck with
That's what
a
I
lot of
was
new
thinking.
building that a lot of people have had controversy over. Not only did you pay for it, but you pay for it twice,
The insurance company said, what are you calling me for?
right?
No permit.
I don't blame you on that. I mean, the people that you put in charge should have been aware.
Mr. Chairman, that wastewater gentleman's been waiting.
I know.
Can
So,
I, gentlemen? You guys voted?
What we'll do is,
He's gonna give you a copy, within a day or two, if you can swing in and grab it. And just make sure everything's all right, and, then we can get ahold of Brox and get him down there and do the job.
Okay. Thank you.
so we'll take a motion to, this has been procured.
Yeah, we already made a motion for that,
Yeah, okay,
and Stu seconded it,
okay.
correct?
That's correct.
All right. Thanks, Ron.
Thank you, Ron.
Let's bring the fellows in from Whitewater.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
How are we doing, guys?
Good.
Good, you?
Come on in, have a seat, right up front here, how's that?
Sure.
Sorry for the delay,
No
Joe.
problem. Russell came in from Whitewater?
I better not shake your hand, I've got a cold.
Okay. I'll give you my card, how's that?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry for the delay.
Don't worry about it. No big deal. We're okay.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Russell Tank.
Glenn Smith.
Oh, come on, I think I've met you before.
Thank you.
You've been here for a while, right?
No,
No?
but I've been around a while.
Okay.
How you doing?
Good.
American
Hey,
Town Whitewater?
Hey, Eric.
I knew you guys have been here for a while already, so I'm not gonna. I have a PowerPoint, but we're not gonna go over it because I don't wanna.
Well, unfortunately, our superintendent couldn't be here.
No, listen, you guys all have families, I know you do this part-time and with everybody else, and so I rather just, I can talk with you two guys and.
Russell, this is Bob Mary, a selectman.
Oh,
Yeah.
how you doing, Bob? Nice to meet you. I'll give these right after
Okay,
that.
thank you.
All right, who's Tim? You, Tim? The first one is all about us. You guys can read this later. It's a lot
Oh,
of reading.
this is Roy
Oh,
Ricker,
Roy, Russell, can you?
and this is Stuart.
That's our credentials and who we are for me. Okay, so I'm gonna go through the PowerPoint. It's much easier. You can read that on your own and talk to us later about anything like that.
Okay.
I know one thing you're talking about is, like right now, everybody's having trouble with staffing their water departments. It's not just you guys, it's everybody across the state.
Glenn can vouch for it, because every time you go out to find operators, you can't find them. We go through the same thing, but one thing we do is we actually train in-house. We have some larger jobs that we can actually bring kids in off the street, train them, and make them operators, and then we put them out in the field. So we have that's like a plus in our favor. Our Southbridge Water Department is one of our biggest training grounds because it's a 9-employee system. So if we need new employees, we bring in kids without licenses, people without licenses, and we train them there. And then when we feel they're ready to go out on the street and do what we do out on the street, we send them out.
What kind of a facility is Southbridge?
Southbridge's big. Southbridge is a 4 million gallon water treatment plant. It's
What type of water treatment?
it's what kind of, it's not filter membrane, it's filter vessels. It's like a pressurized filter, and there's little spray nozzles in it. And
Green
spray.
sand or mixed?
It's mixed. It's not green sand. It's mixed media. All right. Tom takes care of our Southbridge Water Department because it's a job in itself. It's one of our large contracts. Who are we? We're a Massachusetts-based company. We've been in business since 1980. Why we went into business is because we are part of a larger company called RH Construction. Actually, it's what RH Company is now. There's 73 employees in Whitewater, and all we do is water, wastewater, and gas operations. That's all we do. We do have a small maintenance division that takes care of our internal maintenance. We will do small jobs every once in a while, but RH White is a large mechanical division, so it'd be a competition between the two companies. But our guys, we do have 9 maintenance technicians that go around and do our plants and things like that. 95% of our stuff is in Massachusetts. We also have stuff in New Hampshire, Rhode Island, New Jersey, and New York, and we're actually moving our way into Vermont. We have municipal and private clients across the state.
How many cities in town do you work for, sir?
I put our main ones are in there now, but probably 25.
Okay.
Depending on, I'll go to the end, there's a wide range of services we do for each one, you know what I mean? RH Way Construction Company, I don't know if you guys have heard of them, they're in Auburn, Massachusetts. We're just celebrating our 90th year. Whitewater was brought into attrition because RH Way was building wastewater treatment plants and water treatment plants for these small private condominium complexes. They didn't have operators. So what we started doing was slowly started operating and was grown to what we are today. When I started at Whitewater 20 years ago, there was 9 of us, and now there's 73 of us.
Now, when you go out of town, are you flexible, like you do part of the system or the whole
Yep,
thing?
at the very end, yes,
Okay.
we do. I can give you examples of each. Qualifications, we have 63 licensed wastewater and water operators. Probably half of our guys are trained on both sides. The other half are either specialized in wastewater or water. But Eric and I are both licensed as water and wastewater. We do full service operation maintenance services, so that's at the town of Southbridge. We do treatment plant and system operation, which we do for the town of Norfolk. That's just one of our examples. We do distribution system maintenance and operation, which we do for the town of the city of Waltham. We actually are their secondary operator right now because they don't have a secondary. So when the primary's out, we actually just go fill in for him when he's gone for the day. We do have a full service repair and maintenance division, like I said, but we do not go around and take away from local people. That's not our business. We don't do it. If you guys have a local pump guy, we will not use our pump guy. We would use a local, you know what I'm saying? So we don't go into towns and completely take over and put people out of work. We do
Who
not.
would you use to pave a road?
What's that?
Who would you use to pave a road?
Oh, RH White Construction. There's the classifications. Large water systems, we operate 6. When I'm talking about large, I'm talking about 4,000 services or more. Small water systems, we do about 190. That's grown to about 215 over the past couple of months because of an operator in Western Mass went out of business. We supply cross-country control services to 11 cities in Massachusetts. We have system support, which is distribution maintenance for 12 towns and private companies. And we have 156 wastewater systems. So we do a lot. Our municipal clients include the city of Chelsea, Mass. We're entering into our 30th year running the water, sewer, and drain department. Chelsea is no treatment, it's MWR water, so that's a lot of distribution work and stuff like that. Town of Southbridge is full service O&M. We do repairs, we do the treatment plant, we take care of the distribution system, gate valves, process control, we do everything for them. Wayland, Hopkinton, Drake, Wellfleet, Mass. Built their own water system about 5 years ago. We've actually been in Wellfleet for 10 years. So we run their water system. Town of Norfolk, Mass, we just run their treatment plants. They handle their distribution, we just run their treatment plants. That's all we do for them. Wilkinsville Water District, we do everything for them.
Where is that?
Wilkinsville, Sutton, Whitensville.
I never heard of it.
It's right stuck in the middle there. It's one of those little towns. I think it's part of,
I've had that
part of
question about
Sutton. Part of Sutton, it's part of Sutton.
Must be like Newbury and Byfield.
Sutton, 146 over by Worcester.
West of Worcester or south?
South of Worcester. Then we have Bedminster, Spotswood, New Jersey are two of our New Jersey plants. Bedminster is all wastewater, Mendham's all wastewater, Spotswood's all water. We do the treatment plants, distribution, everything like that. And then Bow, New Hampshire, the town of Bow, New Hampshire built a water system 2 years ago. We are currently operating that, we have a 10-year contract with them. This next page is what we call our five longest running clients. I mean, most of our clients come back all the time, but these ones are all anywhere from 10 to 30 years that we've been running their water systems. Town of Southbridge, you can read their qualifications as a 4.4 million gallon treatment plant. They just upgraded the plant, I forgot, they put another filter in so we can treat more water. There's 81 miles of pipe. Chelsea Water and Sewer, we have 40 miles of pipe, and we have drain, and we do tide gates, sewer. That's another one of our full service one of our contracts. The Wellfleet Municipal Water Supply, which I did, Tim, you asked me about budgets for these towns, so you can see the comparison of how many services they have as opposed to the budgets, okay? And this does not, everybody's different. So if any of these numbers stay a little bit, we pay for chemicals. Like in the Southbridge contract, we pay for chemicals, electricity, we pay for everything. So that's just a full service contract. The Norfolk Water Department has two pump stations and treatment plants, and that's all we do is take care of the treatment plants. We go in every day, we do the ops on them, we maintain them, and we do the weekend ops. And then Wilkinsville is a full service, but it's a smaller system, it's only 862 service connections.
Who does the services and the meters and?
Wilkinsville, they're done by us, and well, through the Whitensville Water Company is owned by the Whites. So our guys do the treatment plants, the Whitensville Water Company does emergency repairs, meter replacement, meter repairs, and everything like that. We work together on that contract because Whitensville's been doing it for a long time, but we just help them out every once in a while because we have a lot of people on our staff, so we can go and help them. Chelsea, we do the meters. We actually just did a 5,000 meter change out program for the city of Chelsea 3 years ago. Town of Southbridge, we just did a 3,000 meter change out program for the town of Southbridge. Key personnel in Whitewater. Ken Margosian is the president of Whitewater. He's been around the utility industry for a long time. He came to Whitewater about 6 years ago because we were looking for someone to push us to the next level. So Ken was brought in and works with me and Steve and the rest of the managers. And then there's Steve Dunn, who's our general manager, myself, Dave Bashir is our wastewater manager, Bob Wittenzeller is our maintenance manager, Jeremiah and Eric Smith are our wastewater managers, and then Stu Hawkins and Eric. Eric is our operations supervisor in charge of special projects. So if we have a town that needs help, Eric always steps in, evaluates what's going on, lets us know what we need to help the town out. Even if it's him for a little while to help out, then we'll slowly merge and someone else to help out. Right now, he's actually the acting operations manager for the Whitensville Water Company because their operations manager moved on and he's been there for a little while helping them. He's also worked for the Milford Water Company as their supervisor also. Now my pages and stuff again. Private water industry. There's a lot of ways to do it out there, and there's a lot of different agreements out there. Some are called private-public partnerships, where the public entity owns the system, but they hire a private contractor. They also have fully privatized water systems, which are like the Whitensville Water Company, the Milford Water Company. They're totally private. They're not even part of the town, district, or anything like that. They're private water companies. The industry's grown about 8% since 1999, and the contracts are getting renewed at a better than 93%. Which means that anybody that's running private operations, 93% of them are getting renewed by the cities and towns. Because it just helps coordinate everything, and we have extra people. That's one of the biggest points is, if we have 2 or 3 people go out sick, we have 2 or 3 people that we can send in to help. So it's hard for a lot of towns to keep up. You can't have 8 people on staff. If a couple people go on vacation, then you're down 2 people right away. Benefits. Our staff's trained all the time, they're constantly going to training, we pay for all their training, we pay for all their licenses. We have, again, we have backup operators cover vacations, we have access to some of the best technology because we're always going to trade shows and things like that, which helps you as a town and city, if you know what are the best technology that's out there. I know you guys put in a PAL system, which we had at the Assabet Water Company, which we liked. We really liked the PAL system, and I know a system similar to that went to the Milford Water Company, but it's just a different brand. There's couple different brands.
So you at Milford?
Assabet Water Company is defunct. You won't find it. It actually went out of business. The owners, it's a long story, but they went out of business. They actually had to shut down the water company, and the people in the area had to drill new wells for themselves. So,
Well,
So how many customers they have out there?
they had 200.
Milford? you
Or
said?
just two?
Milford was going with the pressurized system, but I can email you, or email me, I can get you.
Membrane system?
I don't think they went pressure membrane. I misspoke on that one.
They went down.
They went DAF. The other pressure one I know is, they have I think it's a Coke system in Wayland. So if you want it, email me and I'll give you the Wayland contact. We do all their cross-connection control work on Wayland. And I know I'm almost positive they want the Coke system. So that'd be almost the same thing as pressurized. But they had some issues in startup, but I think it's going a lot better now. But if you do email me, I can send you some contact information.
Yeah.
And they're really good over there. They'd even let you come over and poke around and take a look at it. They really will. The guys over there are really good guys.
I've poked around over there at the pond.
Yep.
Long time ago.
Long time ago. And then who else has one? Littleton, I think, has a Coke system too, I believe. The last time I remember.
Littleton's got a Coke.
Littleton, Mass. But Wayland's is a lot newer. Wayland's, I believe, went online about 3 years ago. If my math's right. Talk about options. There are a lot of options out there. And one is, like I was talking about, the full operation and maintenance. You would take over all responsibility in all aspects of your treatment system distribution, consumables, except electricity. I know we do it in Southbridge, but we've got away from the electricity because electricity is a very tricky commodity. It can make or break a company. I know one company is killing them in a contract right now where the electricity rates in the area went right up.
So you guys don't take on electric?
We usually do not. It's something you can talk about, but we usually do not. We'll take on chemicals, we'll take on consumables, we'll take on
So
all
why
that.
is it like a moving figure that?
Electricity gets very tricky, especially if it's a long-term agreement. If it's a couple of years, you can sometimes do it, but a lot of times when the electricity starts going up,
Yeah.
I haven't seen it come down in a long time, but it goes up. I know that a company that I know, who took on a contract with the electricity, underbid the contract because they got a great deal on electricity. Well, something fell through with the whole thing, they had to go back to NSTAR, and now it's costing them a lot of money. So it kind of fell through on them.
How often does the power company deal with a contract for power? Is there a period, every year they change it, or
Well,
every 5 years?
the example he has cited probably was a contract that had been signed,
Yeah,
but there's always a clause.
there's always a clause.
And we had one that was supposed to go 9 years and it only went 5
Really?
before the company backed out because they were losing money. I mean, they gave us a good price. We negotiated a decent price and it was a good price.
It happens a lot.
There's a backup clause, so then you can't commit to something that's like a...
No, and you know, you can usually commit to chemicals and stuff because there is a risk involved. But like I said, that full service operation and maintenance is the riskiest for us. So usually it's the more expensive version.
Well, what's the duration of a contract you typically would?
Anywhere from 5 to 10 years.
5 to 10?
5 to 10 years, and we also have 10 and 10s. So like the city of Chelsea was a 10 and 10, and we got renewed on both 10s. And now we have another 10 and 10, so we're going into our 30th year with them.
Okay.
Town of Southbridge was a 10 and 10, and now again a 10 and 10. So we'll be there almost 4 years when it's over. So, but most towns they usually try to stay around 5. A lot of towns you can't go more than 3 unless you get approval. Is that correct?
That's the other town meeting.
So if you go more than 3, you have to go for approval. So like I said, most of them are anywhere from 3 to 5. We can also just do labor only, which means we supply the guys, you supply the equipment and everything else. We could also supply the guys and equipment, you can do all the consumables, so you can do it that way. We can also just do the treatment system. We've done that. We do that in town of Norfolk and a few other places where we just run their treatment plants. Our guys go into town, they're there 2, 3, 4 hours, spend how big the town is. They do all the work that needs to be done on the treatment plants, and then they leave and go somewhere else. but they are on call for emergencies and stuff like that. We do distribution work, so towns that want to do a meter change-out program will do it. If you want us to inspect the fire hydrants, operate, maintain your gate valves, that's a little easier for us to sometimes, because we come in 3 to 4 or 5 weeks, and then we're out. So we also do that. We also do operator services agreement, so if you need a spare operator for a couple weeks, someone goes out hurt or whatever, we do stuff like that. That's not a contract, that's just an agreement. That's saying, you know, in 3 weeks we're out. In 2 weeks we're out. In a week, come in for a week. We do it right now with the city of Waltham, where, like I said, we go there whenever they tell us they need us. We had to drop everything we're doing last week and go there because their guy called in sick. So we also do that. So if you have a long-term out or something like that, we can do a long-term, well, when I say long-term, you know, like 6 months
Yeah.
to fill in for a person that goes out on injury or something like that.
Okay.
We've done that in the past. We've also done full system audits. We did one for the town of Medway. I can tell you can look it up online, I'm not very popular in the town of Medway. We did a full system audit, and we told them exactly how we, you know, they asked us to be truthful, so we were truthful. Some of it wasn't good, some of it was good. But we've done that in the past. We just go into a town, we do a full audit. If you guys email, I can send you, I probably still have the report on my file, but if not, I can send you what we did for a report. Just went through the entire system and just came back to the board of selectmen and told them exactly how everything looked and what we thought we could do for improvements.
Yeah.
And things like that.
Who deals with the DEP?
On our contracts, we,
Who does the sampling?
depends. A lot of times we do.
All the distribution sampling?
Yeah, in the town of Norfolk, we're still doing it. They've been talking about taking it back for about a year now. You know, there's no, that's the way we work. We don't come into towns and take over. We don't want to see people lose their jobs. Actually, our higher rate going into a town, so say you decide to go full contract operations, okay? And the guys that work here now, we would definitely interview and we would definitely talk to, and I've only not hired one person the entire time I've been with the company. So we went into the town of Hyannis, we took over their operations. They were actually being run by United Water at the time, Aquarium Water at the time. We went down and met with their 9 employees. We hired every single one of them except for one. And the only reason why we didn't hire the one was because that person didn't want to be on call, didn't want to go emergencies. We said, that's part of the deal. That's the way everybody knows in the water department, that's part of the deal. That's the only reason why we didn't hire that person. Where else we do it? Town of Norfolk, an example of the town of Norfolk, when we took over there, their superintendent had quit, their 2 water operators had quit, they had nobody. We stepped in, we slowly helped them build their water department back up. So now they have 3 distribution employees, and all we're doing is their treatment plant. So we help them rebuild by bringing, we actually trained some of their people. Actually, their foreman used to work for us. He came and asked me one day, said, you know, I'd like to work for the town. I said, that's fine. I have no, we walked back in, we talked to the town, they hired him. So he's been there for 6 years? 6 years. 6 years. We don't like to give up on employees, but we also know that some employees want to move on and want to do other things. So this, the Plymouth Water Department, gonna be 8 years ago, 9 years ago, I think I'm starting to date myself, but 9 years ago, their entire treatment staff was let go. Overnight, we had to take over the entire system. So we went down there, and there's 10 treatment plants. Same thing, Plymouth, Mass.
Okay.
We took over their entire treatment system. There's 10 stations, it's huge. It's a large, very large place. And then what we did is slowly, they brought people back in, we helped train them, and a year and a half later, we were out of there, we were gone. Because they brought in all their own people, we helped train them and stuff. So there's a lot of options you can think about. And if it's just help, if you need help right now, like we do that. You know, and I know it's hard. I mean, Glenn can vouch for it. If he has to go on vacation, at least 1 or 2 guys can. Because you have nobody to, you know what I mean, supplement it up.
Yeah, but on one of your contracts with one of your towns,
Yeah.
how much time are you actually in the town to do the work?
It depends. This town of Southbridge, we have 9 full-time employees. They never leave Southbridge,
Yeah.
ever. Town of Norfolk's 4 hours a day, because DEP requires that the primary treatment operator be there 4 hours a day. If you have SCADA and all that, you know, there's a whole thing we have to go to. But
Okay, so
also,
if they have a SCADA system, you can, you know, be monitoring this.
correct, but also Norfolk has their own operators in town distribution. So when you go to the DEP, we say, we're going in to do the treatment plants, but they're also there all day to answer alarms if something comes in. Town of Wellfleet, we do 4 hours a day, but we also have 90 small water systems in Wellfleet Road, Eastham, all that whole area.
Yeah.
So our guy is actually in the area all day, but he's only spending 4 hours a month. So it all depends on how you set it up and what a DEP will agree to.
Okay, and then administratively, for the town?
Administratively, again, you can do whatever, but a lot of times, like Southbridge, we do all of their paperwork. Well, Norfolk, we help them do their paperwork. We do the staff report, we do their monthly call form sampling, and we submit those reports. We do all their sampling, so we submit all those reports. They do a few other reports that we just review. So that's part of the contract there, is I go in there 4 hours a month, and I sit with the superintendent, and we just go over everything and keep everything going. Because like I said, they have a very small department.
So they have like a superintendent that's part of the town, and then you guys deal directly with the superintendent? Does he kind of run you?
Correct, he oversees us.
Yeah.
So, like I said, we just do their treatment right now. They have 3 other people that do their distribution system.
You say you're doing their lab work too?
We do all their sampling. They like I said, they had talked to us about taking it back, and I told them anytime, you just let us know. We have no problem with it. It's your town, you know what I mean? It's your town.
You have your own lab that you're using, or?
No, we use Net Labs in Rhode Island. We also use Rhode Island Analytical, depending on.
Who do you use in this area?
I'd have to ask the wastewater guys. They probably go to Rhode Island Analytical. The only water we have really close to here is obviously Chelsea, which goes to the MWRA because it's MWRA lab, and then Bow, New Hampshire goes to.
Lab.
What's that?
They've got their own certified lab.
Correct. Yeah. So the MWRA, but we have an agreement. Net Labs does all of our sampling. The majority of our sampling. So we have an agreement with them. They come and pick up for us. We don't deliver samples.
That's it.
Yeah.
Courier service.
We don't pay for service.
Yeah, no, they have their own people.
They have their own people who can get it. But there are still some labs out there you have to actually go deliver it to. But there are a lot of options, and it's a lot to think of in one day, so obviously I'm not asking you guys to go one day. But review all we gave you. If you want to come back in a couple of weeks and, any questions, I can come back up anytime. You guys let me know. I apologize for the delay. My father's in the hospital sick, so I've been dealing with that.
Then we held you up here, I'm sorry about
No,
that.
no, he's all better. He's getting better. So.
Yeah, good.
But I've been burning the candle at 64 rings. But it's
So what, now, you handle you'll handle a system for 200 people, right up to how many people?
10,000.
Yeah.
It all depends on how it's structured. And there's all, like I said, there's all kinds of ways of structuring it.
Yeah. Now, how many systems you operate that only have like 2,000 customers?
That would be Norfolk. Norfolk has exactly 2,100 services. It's all varied because then 2,000, probably Norfolk's the only one that's right around 2,000.
What's the population of Norfolk?
Oh, it's a lot more than that because they only have 2,000 services, but there's still, half the town has their own private water. The town actually only covers half the town with public water. So there's about 4,000, potentially 4,000 homes, I think it is, 5,000 homes.
Yeah.
So do you do all the billing and all the,
In some places we do,
Customer
Southbridge we
complaints.
do not, Southbridge we read all the meters, but then the town does the billing, all we do is upload the guns and the town does the billing. City of Chelsea does their own billing. The town of Bow, New Hampshire is only 20 services right now, we do their billing. We do billing for some of the towns. The large ones would be something we wouldn't do it ourselves in-house, we would sub it out. Anything under a couple hundred services, we'll do the billing for.
and you have
In-house.
you have somebody in-house handling customer complaints and?
Again, yes,
Second
depending on the setup. Like Chelsea, we have a full-time admin in Chelsea. Southbridge has 2 full-time admins. So they handle all of the complaints and that comes through. Anything else that we have contractual-wise goes right to our 800 number, and then the office dispatches it to whatever supervises in that area.
And emergency water leaks and services and broken pipes and such like that?
That we would hit. Again, that we would, if we went into a town like, say, just Raleigh, I'm just using you guys as an example, we would actually probably talk to some of the local contractors to be on call for us. You probably guys do that now, right? You handle your own leaks now? You do, okay. But
Yes and no.
if we took over the whole town,
Yes, we have no.
yes, we bring on our own, we bring in a backhoe and a dump truck and we do the leaks ourselves. Again, it all depends on how it's structured. We do it though. The city of Chelsea and Southbridge, we repair all of our own leaks. That we don't sub out. We do, when we first went in Norfolk, it was only 2 of us, so that's a little difficult to do leaks with, so we actually contracted with a local contractor to be our emergency on-call contractor.
That's the situation we're in right now.
Yeah, Robert, our company, actually does all of our repairs for the town of Wellfleet, because Wellfleet's only 5 miles of pipe. So we're friends with John Hauer, and he said he would be on call for us for the duration of the contract, just in case something happened. So it depends on how much you have to staff things, because you don't want to overstaff either, because then people have nothing to do. But when it comes to emergencies, we do, a lot of times we will rely on, if it's a contract like just, it's like half, you know, like only this treatment or building, whatever, will help, but we rely on local people. But when push comes to shove, we can use RH White Construction. But RH White's, you know, we're talking about, they do anything from 12-inch main to 80-inch. I mean, it's a big company.
I've worked on with them on a couple of wells.
Yeah. Pick my brain, yeah. If you want, like I said, if you guys think about it, anything, I get.
Well, we're thinking about it. We're thinking about how do we look at this versus what we got. So that's where we're at right now.
But you can take everything, look at it, and I'm more than willing to come back again and sit down and just chit chat and go over everything.
It's just unfortunate that we don't have our superintendent.
I met John, I think 5 years ago, and I think I said 5 years, I think it was 5 years ago, yeah, maybe,
Yeah.
yeah, probably 5. But I met John then.
Yeah, so.
And believe, if you want me to just come up during the day and talk to everybody on a working session.
I hate to say it, but we might want you to come up again when John's, our superintendent's here, so, you know.
That's no problem.
Okay.
You guys let us know, and I'll be more than happy to.
So Norfolk would be something that's more similar to us than anybody?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
And what kind of budget do you have with Norfolk?
Right around, I think I put it as a 1. So I mean, I've been in financial meetings all day, so I don't want to give you a number that's wrong. Norfolk's about 125,000 a year. However, we do weekends for Norfolk, so there's a big.
What do you do for Norfolk, Dory?
On the weekends, we
No,
check
I mean,
the-
what do you do?
just their treatment plants.
Just that.
Just the treatment plants, and then we have,
You don't
and
do any
then,
distribution?
no, unless they ask, but they have 3 distribution operators. But we also do a management agreement with them where I go in and sit down with them once a month and we go over, because right now they're looking for new supplies and.
What do they have for supplies?
They have
Groundwater, surface
groundwater,
water?
it's all groundwater. The only surface water we have currently is the Southbridge. That's 4.4 million gallons of reservoir water. The rest are all groundwater plants.
So they take care of distribution, you take care of...
Correct. We have the same exact agreement with the Southbridge, South Meadow Village in Carver, Mass. It's a 600 trailer community. We run their treatment, we take care of their tank and that, but they take care of your valves, hydrants, repairs, they do all that in-house.
Yeah.
Same thing.
All right, so how do you compare apples to oranges?
It's a case by case basis. So if you ask me, how much it would cost to do this, just this, I will put it together.
Okay.
If you ask me about the whole thing, we'll put it together. We'll give you some budgets. I probably wouldn't give you a bid number, only because it's a lot more work for me,
Yeah, I get you.
but I've been more than happy to put it together some kind of budget.
Okay.
Like I said, I mean, weekends is the big thing, because a lot, DEP makes, you guys do weekend inspections now?
Yes.
That's where it starts to
Okay.
add on the cost. And believe me, if you guys need a break and you want to just share the weekends, it's not a problem with us either. It doesn't, you know what I mean? Because what it does, it just helps with the whole thing. It's just, we're here to help. That's all I can say to you. We're not here if you need help. We're not here, like I said, we're not here to take people's jobs away. Absolutely not.
So, Eric, what do you an operator at some of the plants, or do you
Currently, my
handle all the
assignment,
operators, or what?
currently my current assignment is I'm at the Whiteville Water Company. I'm overseeing all their daily operations. It's a staff of 9 people. There's 2 green sand filtration plants, 2 booster plants, and there are 3 storage tanks.
How
I
many
believe
wells?
it was about, well, the green sand filtration, one of the facilities, it is wells. It's not supposedly under it's a well field, but it's right next to a body of water. So it's considered groundwater. But there is surface water in Waitesville. There's about 86 miles of main, and we do everything. DEP, meter program, gate valves, hydrant valves. We do all our own work. So it's basically just,
So you have people living in
we
the
do,
area that,
they all live in the area.
Yeah, Whitingville's a private water company. It's owned by a board of directors. And when their operations manager left, they called us to help out until they found a new one. So right now they are interviewing, and that's part of Eric's job at Whitewater. He'll go into towns that need a superintendent for a short period of time and take over and help out for that period of time. We also get involved in the interviews sometimes, depending on if they want help or not.
Okay.
So, and then when Eric's not in a special project, like I said, special projects, he'll do a lot of our upgrades and repair work. So right now we're putting a treatment system at the Bose facility in Stowe, Mass. So Eric will oversee the treatment installation. It's not a treatment plant, it's just chlorine and a couple other things, so I don't want you to think he's a construction guy. He's an operator.
Yeah.
He's a good operator, but he's an operator.
Okay, so, I'm glad you could come in.
No, it's no problem at all. But just let us know and we'll just stay in touch. And like I said, anything you need to help you with, we can help.
No, I appreciate you. Very informative.
No problem at all.
Stu, do you have any more questions?
No, I'm just,
But
Anybody in the audience? Larry, would you like to ask a question?
Yeah, if you don't mind.
No,
Sure.
I was just wondering, I didn't hear your first part of the presentation, so I apologize for
That's
that.
okay.
But I was wondering, what is your preference? Do you want to do just the water treatment plant or the whole operation?
Well, I can tell you that personally, my preference is whatever you guys need us to do. Eric, it bugs the guys sometimes because I'll go in and make these little deals with towns and only do a few certain things, but it's whatever to help towns out. That's what we do. You know, people can say that, you know, we come in and take over towns and we get rid of everybody. We don't do it. We don't do it. We have been in towns, like I said, for 3 months, 6 months, 8 months, help them get back on their feet, and then we're out the door. And we may never talk to that town again. I don't want to do that. I'd like to come back and say hi every once in a while, but we do not have a preference. We really do not.
Well, when you say that you come in,
Because some towns will,
stuff and then leave.
because some towns won't have enough operators, all right? Say they're looking for operators, they can't find any. So they're looking in the paper, they're looking at interviewing people that don't have any operators. We'll go into that town and just give them an operator for 6 months to help until they find an operator to hire. So it's just temporary operator services. We do that too. So it's the wide range of things that we do. But we do full service contract ops where we will take over an entire town and just do their entire water system, treatment, distribution, repairs, everything.
okay, so that would be your own people running the treatment plant?
We would hire,
Your own people doing the
I don't know if you're at the
distribution?
beginning, but 99% of the time, we hire the people that are already here. As long as they pass our interview process and our screenings and things like that.
Okay, then I guess then my question is, what expertise are you bringing in that these operators that we have at present don't have for ourselves?
I can't speak for your operators now because I don't have their resumes, but I can tell you that our operators range anywhere from 5 years experience to 35 years of experience. So depending on, what's that? Yeah, I know you do, I'm just saying, I didn't want to speak out
I'm
of
just
turn,
trying to
but,
figure out,
plus we have,
if you're hiring the same people,
because a lot of times it's not that the people aren't doing their job, it's that they're having trouble financing and keeping everything going and finding new people to bring in. So if you have 2 operators, but you're supposed to be 4, the 2 operators are doing their job. They're probably doing their job, but they just can't do it because there's only 2 of them doing a job for 4. Okay? So we'll bring in our operators that might have been on another job somewhere else right now. We'll bring them in. They'll work with the 2 guys that are here. And then slowly we try, if you want to, we try to hire people to come in. Or if we do the whole contract, we hire those 2 people and we bring our other people in to supplement the rest of the contract.
so you're acting almost like a consulting firm or...
We do, yes, exactly. No, you're exactly right. But like I said, we do it both ways. We do full contract ops or we do like a consulting firm, absolutely. Eric can attest to it. Eric was brought in, we were working in the town of Norfolk. I was looking for a new operator. He was working for the well company. Well company's a friend of ours. I went to the well guy. Eric wanted to get in the treatment operation business. We talked and we hired Eric. And now, 6, 7 years later, he's still sitting here with us.
They need someone to flush hydrants.
We need someone to flush hydrants.
That's what we do.
But like I said, and again, if, I know you're starting a new plant, what's gonna happen now is you're gonna have to flush after you start the new plant. If that's something you just want help with for a month, bringing in crews at night to help flush, under the direction of your superintendent or your foreman or your operators, we'll just send in crews to help flush. They're crews that know what they're doing, they flush all the time. Currently, we have 7 flushing programs that we do every year. And we have 2 guys that's their main function in life. They do flushing programs, gate valves, and hydrants.
Well, if you took over everything,
Mhm.
would you have a facility here in Rowley?
If we took over, we would put a project manager in. So whether we had office space here or had to get our own, that would be something you would talk about. A lot of towns choose to try to give us office space and it doesn't cost you any more, because that'll obviously get put into the contract.
Right, but we'll say if you took over everything, then you're needing a place for all your equipment, chemicals, everything.
But you have that
else.
right here, right? This building,
Well, yes, but we'll say, I don't know whether that would be available, we'll say. if
yeah,
you
no, we
took
would
it
find,
over,
we would find.
Or whether you would even want it over
They're
here.
gonna operate it the same way we'll operate it.
Be the exact same way.
They'll call every month, they'll get their chemicals in every month at the treatment plant.
Whoever our project manager is would do that function.
It's,
The biggest thing we have is if you have, like I said, you have a staff of 3 or 4, and it's supposed to be a staff of 6, we can help. The other thing we have is you have people that with experience you can draw off of. I know since I left here, I've talked to John twice, since I left here 3 or 4 years ago. He has called me and asked me a few questions and I've helped him. Nobody might know about it because I didn't send you a bill, but it was just something that he called me and asked me a question. It's just what we do. It's what we do. Water's my life. I've been doing it for 20 years and I love doing it and I help as much as possible. We all do, the whole company does.
Are you folks union?
No. No, we're not.
In Wellfleet,
Leonard White said no. Leonard White said no.
in Southbridge, in Wellfleet, you run the whole operation there, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Wellfleet's very small, but we order the chemicals, we do everything we do there. The only thing we do not do in Wellfleet is we don't pay for electricity. That's it, town.
Right, but I mean, you send out the water bills and,
In Wellfleet, we did until last year. They hired their own admin persons down there because the town's growing, the water system's growing. So we were doing all their admin work, but we sat down in a meeting with them and they said, Russell, do you think it's time for us to hire our own administrative person? Because, there's applications coming through the door. We were handling all that for them, but obviously it was costing them money. So we said it would be good to have a person sitting in Wellfleet all day and taking calls and meeting people. So they actually hired their own admin. So we just took that portion of it out of our contract and gave it back to them. And said, we're not doing that admin piece. We still do all their DEP stuff, but just that one piece of bringing in service connections and stuff like that is now done by an admin person.
right, I was just wondering how you handle, we'll say if you're doing the billing, in Southbridge, and some accounts will say go from like 5,000 a month to 30,000 a month.
Those are flagged by the system, and then it's given to a work order to the guys, and they go out and they double check them, and they do whatever they need to do.
Okay,
It's flagged by the system. That one's all automated.
okay.
Actually the readings are done by a truck, collects all the readings, then it's downloaded, and then it's billed.
Okay, so, but at that point, a human steps in.
Correct. We handle that in
Okay.
Southbridge. That, like I said, that's a 9-person, there's 9 employees, and Whitewater employees in Southbridge,
Okay,
including admin staff.
how big is
Thank you.
Southbridge? Is that 4 million?
Yeah, that's the $4.4 million treatment plant, and then it also has 80 miles of pipe or something like that. It's a good size system,
3,800 customers,
3,800 customers.
$1.3 million budget.
Okay.
We pay for everything, the town doesn't, all the town does is build, that's all they do. And we do all the reading, they just take the readings and print bills, and we all work together answering calls.
I got a question for you. Are you familiar at all? Have you looked at our treatment plant when you?
I did when it came the last time, I looked at 2, I believe, and sorry, 5 years ago, my memory is not as good as it used to be, but I did walk around and look, but I can't comment on it.
Just the wells?
It was just the 2 wells. I think it was 2 at the time.
We've got 3 wells.
I may only got to 2 that day because I was up here for a little while.
I guess my concern is, in other words, our treatment plant is gonna come online in spring.
Right.
More or less, give or take, assuming it's on schedule. In a treatment plant like that, what kind of hiring would you be doing if you were running it? In other words, are you talking having to hire a couple of people, or would the people that, if you get 2 or 3 people like we do on staff, that they would be able to handle that?
What's gonna happen is the startup's gonna be hard. It always is. Everyone knows you design something, you build it, you flip on the switch. It's gonna run, but is it gonna run right? There's gonna be a lot of tweaking going on, a lot of adjustments to chemicals. So someone's gonna, whoever the primary treatment operator is that you, Glenn? Glenn's gonna be there a long time. He's gonna probably be there 8 hours a day, if not more, when it starts up. On top of that, you guys are gonna have to flush, because if you're removing iron and manganese, you're gonna wanna get a lot of it out of the system before you start putting in nice, clean, treated water. So that's the other component. So if it was, a lot of towns do sometimes, they'll hire people to come and help start up the plant, okay? Now, your primary operator will be in charge. All you're gonna give them is a body or 2 to help get it all started, get it all running, get out the kinks, and then you'll be done with it.
So in terms of flushing, you're talking, we would really need to flush the entire system.
Or we need to flush the entire system anyway.
You have to flush it anyways. I mean, I don't know how much, how
Done in April, so it's.
how aggressive it is, yeah. And if you have a lot of iron, you're probably getting a lot of discolored water and stuff. Are you doing unidirectional, or are you just doing?
I've been here 5 weeks now.
Oh, you have? I'm sorry. Is it unidirectional flushing though?
It will be.
Oh, well, okay. That's the only way you get it clean anyways.
Yeah.
But when that happens, these guys are gonna be very busy. And you're gonna wanna do most of it at night, because people in this town, once you start unidirectional flushing, it's gonna be crazy.
It's,
It is.
So in other words, you could come in if you were the town or the water department, your contractor with you,
Mhm.
at the startup time, you could come in and assist with the startup,
Correct, we would put a crew on that would work.
assist with the flushing, and
Absolutely.
take care, because the flushing is a huge issue in terms of the phone will be ringing off the hook here.
It will be ringing off.
If it isn't done quickly and done effectively, I'm assuming,
Well,
because everybody's gonna have
Quickly is not a good word
groundwater.
when it comes to flushing, effectively is a better word. Quickly doesn't happen.
Effectively, in other words, but
Yeah.
the sooner the better. In other words, it's not something you're gonna drag out over 6, 7, or 8
A lot
months.
of times, and you guys can discuss this, a lot of times what we do is we flush 4 nights a week, because once you get out, start flushing, if you do 8-hour shifts, it gets tight. You're set up for an hour, you're flushing for 4 or 5, 6 hours. How are your tanks holding up? So there's a lot that goes into flushing. You only have one tank. There's only one tank here. So the flushing is gonna have to be done very slowly and very meticulously. You may flush one night and not be able to flush the next night, depending on your demand and depending on how much water you used the night before. With a first unidirectional flush, you're probably not gonna sit on the hydrants until they clear, because you may not get them clear the first flush. You could be on it for 45 minutes, but now you're just spending time waiting and waiting and waiting. You may have to do it twice before it completely clears out, but I don't know what luxury you have to get it done twice. It's a lot of work when you have a system that has iron and manganese for so long, and now it's built up in all the pipes, and now you gotta clean it out.
I haven't flushed here in Raleigh yet, but I've found that short distances and hard flushing seems to work better.
Sure, absolutely. I mean, you'll probably, I don't know if there's a unidirectional flushing program done by an engineer. I usually put those aside and then kind of modify it ourselves, because sometimes they go too long in the distances. But if they have hydraulic, they do all this stuff to do it. But a lot of it has to do with experience, how much experience you have flushing. You can look at flushing and it could stay dark for hours.
Okay.
But maybe, you know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of things we need to help you guys. And like I said, I open back up. I have no problem with that at all. And if you want to just sit down and talk about the flushing, I mean,
There's a lot of valving we gotta do.
that's the other thing. I mean, are the valves even, can you get them all? Can you get on them? Do they work?
They had a pretty good valve program here previously, I think, so.
So that's the other thing. We do valve programs. So if you need help with that, I mean, you're going to have to check a lot of valves. So if you guys need help with that, we can help with that. Like I said, we have a crew of 2 people. That's their main function. I'm not saying we can't put 2 crews out here, but those 2 guys, that's what they do. That's what they do.
Well, is there any other questions from anybody else?
I don't have any.
Okay, I really appreciate you coming to Russell. And Eric, thank you very much. We'll be, probably be calling soon to.
Just let me know, we'll come
Some more
back up. Like I
information.
said, I wish Glenn was here, 'cause I haven't seen him in a while, but I did talk to him.
John,
Right?
John, Glenn is here.
I mean, John.
Yeah,
I've never seen Glenn around, it's getting unfair.
thanks, Roy.
You were that cool.
Yeah, right.
Thanks, guys. Thank you. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
What's the new plan to put up?
Very nice to meet
What's the new plan to put up?
This one's $1.5 million.
you. Oh,
No, I haven't.
you have a card, right?
Yeah, $1.5 Paul pressure membrane filters. We just got the chemical tanks in, putting the roof on now. Hopefully some cleaning and painting soon.
Laura, do we have anything that's really pressing for tonight?
Let me look at the agenda. Do we have to select the colors tonight? More color selection.
Well, that's
Jamie,
why
take
Dave,
care of
that's why
that.
Dave was here.
Thank you.
You've done the rest, you might as well do this one.
I told you, I want
Have a good night, guys.
See you later.
Good night.
Do you select colors for treatment plants?
Hey, gentlemen.
Good night.
Army green sounds good.
I thought we picked them last time. We're picking the colors for the bathrooms, Jamie?
Yeah.
You picked everything
My claim
else.
to fame, right? I told you, I want a plaque.
Put picture plaque in the bathroom.
Laura, can we put some of this stuff off because we have some other things we have to take care of.
Okay, so the abatements now, Carol Powers sent us a certified letter. We've been thinking about that for 60 days. So she's looking for an answer, and her letter's in there to the board. I'm sorry, that one. And I have the 2 abatements that were approved. I just need those signed.
Okay,
And then I
so
can put the other,
these are approved, so we'll sign these.
yeah.
This is the one for Elaine Lee.
Right.
Mr. Chairman, last meeting, in other meetings, we've been spending too much time on these abatements. That's up to the superintendent to take care of it and make his recommendations to us.
That's well noted. I agree with that. Roy?
On this one here that we have from Carol Powers,
Right.
at 95 Able Street. Did you go to that one by any chance? Glenn, were
I
you
didn't
on
know
that?
95
No.
Day Road Street.
Well, John's not here tonight, so,
I did make a copy. She did pay her bill under protest.
yeah.
So I did want you to know
60
that.
days, that was the plan.
Well, I think that, we
Okay.
need to get John.
Okay, so we'll put them off for another week. Thank you. You want to do the colors? The architects asked us to revisit the floor samples.
Maybe I just note that, so that by any chance she's watching the show, in the next couple of days, that we have one talk with the superintendent on this, and just so it's noted on TV, you know what I'm saying?
Well, we want to talk to the superintendent specifically about Carol Powers, is that what you said?
Yeah, this is the letter she just sent us certified.
Okay, I'll read that.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so the floor samples, the architect really wants us to opt with blue and gray versus that red. And
Who wanted red?
I think we flipped a coin.
yeah. So if it's all right with you, this will be our new color choice. We'll go with the blue and the gray. And
Okay.
the bathroom selection are 2 options, the first and second, or third. Or if you don't like any of that, you can do whatever you like. But I think Jamie and I are selecting option 1, Jamie, is what we think. using the blue, not the black.
Okay, so I make a motion that we follow Jamie's suggestion,
Okay.
supported by Laura, for the bathroom color scheme. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Okay.
And then the
Jamie Memorial Bathroom.
architect's recommendations, do we have a motion to accept his recommendations?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Fall review schedule, we'll look at that next time.
Can we just,
Superintendent's here.
can we just bring up 2 things that are happening this week, or no?
What's happening this week? I'm not gonna close it like a trap door
Okay.
here.
Okay.
So, I'm trying to move on
I
with
know,
this
I
subject.
know, but this, you should know what's happening this week.
DEP called us and we've set up a schedule with, and an appointment for Friday. FEMA's coming out to many of the area water departments to check on their emergency generators and their preparedness for operation during power emergencies. So that's coming up Friday. And
How, are we all set on that one?
we should be. I think they want to look at the plant and what we're doing with the plant. The propane right angle drive at 3 is available to operate. We have to bring in portable generator, which is on the big truck on the 450, in order to run the instrumentation and the chem feeds. I haven't looked around, but I think we're short a generator if we wanted to run more than one station. Well 5 has its own generator that will run the whole station. Well 2 has a generator for the well pump, but it's an auxiliary generator for the chemical feed building. And well 3 has a propane fired right angle drive and auxiliary generator for the chemical feed building. With the treatment plant, they're putting a generator to operate the treatment plant and well 5 and all the chemicals, because well 5 won't have a chemical feed system in it anymore. That'll all be handled at the treatment plant. And the generator that's currently at well 5 is going to be transferred over to well 3 to run that well. And of course you won't have the chemicals over there that you have to operate. So it'll be able to handle the pump and the flow meter and the instrumentation. So I think we're in pretty good shape for FEMA. And DEP says they're gonna stop by sometime this week. He hasn't told us when.
Okay. We can handle that, right? Do we have anybody to cover the secondary at this point? Is he coming in, or?
So I put in your packet some options as you have, it's at the back of the packet there, is the options 1, 2, and 3. Weston Sampson does have a half-day person available today, and next week they would be here full-time. Glenn did find,
Well, isn't,
Rob will be back Monday.
yeah, so
Okay.
that's, we need somebody this week.
Right.
Did we get anybody this week?
We gotta talk about what kind of a pay scale you're looking at. I have somebody that's interested. I don't know how fast he can be in.
Yeah, but we need somebody this week, because of, you're the only one here, right? Okay. So, can we get somebody in here tomorrow?
Yes,
Half day Weston and Sampson.
yes.
Okay, then get him in here.
Okay,
Just in
so
case.
I put in
You
his,
might drop there tomorrow, or whatever.
Thanks.
We needed somebody Monday.
so we talked yesterday a little bit, you wanted us to present this to, you told me to wait till today, and that's what I'm doing. I did put in his rate, it's in the $60 an hour rate.
We need coverage, we need them
So
in here.
I'll write up a purchase order and bring it next week, but he'll be working tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay?
I'm sorry, but, you know,
Because your other person might wanna do it
I-
for
you know,
less money.
I gotta say that I specifically asked him to
Okay,
take care of this for this week. And,
we're doing the best we can here.
I know you are.
Okay,
okay, I'm not slighting you or not slighting Glenn. But, you know, we, as a board, wanted somebody in here to cover our base, so.
okay. So we'll have Weston Sampson in here tomorrow at
Good
11
idea.
o'clock. Okay?
Anything else that's gonna be decided tonight?
Mr. Chairman, if I could suggest item number 6.
So what I did with the Petrillo lien is you requested me to send Mrs. Petrillo a letter. It's in your packet, along with the proof that we did pay that bill. And I haven't heard from the Petrillos. I mailed that out, what day, Roy? I forget what day. I think it was last
That's
Friday.
September 6th,
September 6th, so. a couple
last
of-
Friday.
Last Friday. So I wanted you to know that I did do that.
And then did you provide the documentation that Kinsman gave us?
Right, it's all attached.
It's in that,
It's
okay.
all attached, yes.
So Kinsman provided all the documents regarding, he
So-
paid
The
his
release of liens,
subcontractor, and the subcontractor lied on the form, saying he paid his subcontractor, which he didn't. So that should be fine for what they need, as far as, you know, the documentation to pursue this any further. Does that answer your question, Bob?
Yeah, basically, I mean, as you know, they came in to talk to the board of selectmen.
Yeah.
And we want to make sure that that gets taken care of to their satisfaction.
Yeah,
Did that
the
letter go out?
suggestion is, give a copy of this to the selectmen,
Oh, sure,
so that they have a
Sure.
copy of this. of what we-
That'd be a great idea.
sure.
Good idea, boy. Okay, does that handle that issue?
As long as you guys don't talk about it, that's fine.
Yeah. The only other thing is, we've got to decide on an administrative assistant tonight. So do I have a motion?
I make a motion, we hire, Mr. Sampson.
Linda Sampson. Mr. Dalzell?
You got a motion? Excuse me. Till we hire Carmen.
Carmine, okay. I did speak with the superintendent. He was leaning toward Carmine, so I'll second Carmine. And do I have, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. No vote?
No.
Okay. All right, so we need to make an offer letter to Carmine. And the offer should be, I would say, $16.04. He's got a family. Do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so the offer letter goes out ASAP. Laura, do you think you could call him up and see when he can report it?
So I think the offer letters come from Debbie,
Okay,
so I will let her know tomorrow.
yep. We want him in here soon. Okay, secondary operator?
I have something I'd just like to bring up to the board on this. At the moment, I went down, like the board asked me to do, and talk to Debbie, and Mr. Snow was there too. And instead of hiring a secondary, we could save money from what money we haven't used so far on line 3 budget on the secondary for July, August, and September, which is $12,428.25. And so far, an administrative assistant, by not hiring anybody in August and September, we've saved $6,467.30, which leaves us $18,895, not counting the benefits and insurance and that kind of stuff, which would be able, like Sue and I had talked, I believe it was in last week's minute, but I'm not positive, about a laborer instead. And we'd have to go to town meeting to get that on an article to transfer. There wouldn't be any more money out of our system. I mean, we just gotta calculate, make sure we get the, the numbers right for the insurance and all that, and have a laborer that somebody can do some work out here.
You have to go to the Board of Selectmen
Yes, we
and
do.
then town meeting.
Yeah. See, I think we have approval, and correct me if I'm wrong, you're on the personnel board, to have 2 secondary operators and a primary operator.
Exactly, because we did not put down, when we did the budget,
We
we
have
was
a-
cutting the budget, we cut out,
We got a seasonal laborer position.
right, we cut out the laborer out of the budget when we did the thing.
Yeah.
What I'm asking the board, I mean, to save money, can we get away with 1 secondary and a primary, and have a laborer that can do everything?
Probably not according to DEP, especially after we start the plant. When we start training at the plant, a laborer can't do the rounds at the stations.
Well, I realize that, we don't know what we're doing up there yet, and, you know what I'm saying?
No, we have the plant starting up in this fiscal year,
We
so.
got training starting up within the
December.
next couple of months.
And we do have money that appears to be a surplus from our labor budget, but I'm not sure how that would pan out to, and I'm not even sure they would allow us to create a position as a
Well,
as a laborer.
that's exactly
So
what,
that's- yeah.
What
The
we're saying.
position is approved union position.
The position.
But we had dropped it out of our budget
It's
this year.
just not filled. So we still have an equipment operator and a laborer that are still water department union approved positions.
What I would suggest we do is try to figure out how this would fit, so
Yeah,
that,
so Glenn, yeah.
we could get some more help in here
I think
with the debt, with the surplus of money we have for our labor budget, and then see if we can make that happen.
Mr. Chairman, just a question, I'm not familiar with how your budget line items, but how are the funds in your budget? Are you budgeted for primary and specifically 2 secondaries, or is it just a labor?
Two secondaries,
Two
correct.
secondary.
So it specifically says that in the budget?
Yes.
Yes.
But we didn't have anybody for Dave from July,
Right.
August, September.
No, I understand you have the money, I was just curious whether you have to go back to town meeting to get that.
It's not for
changed.
more money, it's
Right, it's just-
transferring it around.
But if it was just a budget, a labor budget, a salary budget without being specific, you could probably just go out and get someone, at least on a temporary basis, but if it's specific in the budget, then you kind of hamstring.
I think we should go easy until after town meeting to see what the voters would like us to do in this contract, some or all of the water department.
Mr. Chairman, are you anticipating transfers or additional funding at the town meeting?
The fall meeting? Or
For the fall, for the fall, because the budget's,
Which is.
the warrant's open now until September 30th, so that if you want to put articles in, you have.
This was just something that I talked to
Right.
Debbie and.
Started today.
Right, I mean, I'm just saying, whatever you decide to do, it
September
needs to be
30th is a
done
deadline.
hastily, so that,
So can you,
So I have in your packet the 2 drafted articles and the explanation that Roy discussed with me today around 4 o'clock.
yeah,
For you to start thinking, but I think we're back to the direction of the board and the town voters. You know, I get on the fence about all this.
I understand that,
Okay.
but we have a deadline of September 30th. If we want to make this, if we think it's necessary for that to happen, then we have till September 30th to get an article.
Which is
for
only
this
about
one.
2-3 weeks.
That's right.
Because you
So,
have to go to the select.
Whatever you and Roy and maybe John, when he gets back, can come up with, to see if we need an operator laborer to come on for a temporary period of time through the months to help us out here, then we ought to look at, try to have that thing happen before September 30th in an article form. So we definitely need
I mean, the thing I'm looking at
a
is.
meeting. Well, let me finish. We need a meeting with an article before us and a justification that's already gotten through the scrutiny downtown that would say, okay, this is doable with our procedures here with, you know, getting things accomplished. Okay? So
I guess it's back to Roy. I mean,
What I
Roy
was,
said that we got 18,
no, right in front of you, in the packet.
the only thing is that's not figuring in, you know, any overtime or,
yeah.
So the overtime budget is on your, we're only use 6% of our overtime budget. Glenn's been doing a great job of managing
Yeah.
the situation daytime. You know, we had to go out for the car accident Friday night.
Yeah.
That's overtime. So, you know, we've had overtime, but we've been doing a good job this year on managing overtime at the wells, and
the thing I'm looking at.
there's plenty of money in the overtime
is that,
line.
we're gonna be losing a couple of guys with the training and everything going on up there in the next few months, and that's gonna leave, you're gonna leave much back here to get something done, you know.
Well, they're not gonna get training until probably February.
Well, it's gonna be,
December.
So how
Was
the
it December?
training works, Tim, is each individual contractor is gonna do their pocket of training. It's not just like they're gonna be up there for a day. You know, Skater's gonna start quickly. You know, I think we're getting in good position for Skater.
Yeah.
That'll be the first training, and then, you know, Paul's gonna come in here and do his training, and, you know, so on and so forth. But it's individual training, it's not go to a class and learn. So the operators have to be available when we're ready to do that. Or an outside company, whoever, Whitewater. They need to go to training.
That's not gonna happen that quick.
Because these are specialized plants with.
I understand that.
Okay,
I understand that.
so there is a training plan in place.
Are you still entertaining a temporary secondary operator?
Oh, yeah. Well, it's kind of a moot point, because you could hire one of these guys that are interested in a position permanent, because we already interviewed them. We can bring them on. We could do the vote tonight. We've already interviewed them, contingent upon them, you know, passing the background check. They already, some of these guys already do the Cory check. Yeah. So we can do that, or we can tell somebody we're gonna bring them on temporarily, okay? Until we can, you know, get somebody permanent on, or hire that person permanent, or we, you know, if we hire somebody permanent now, he's still on probation for 9 months. So it's kinda like he's temporary anyway. Not that you're gonna make a bad decision, or John's gonna make a bad decision. That's the way things work out, you know, so you get them in and you find out that, so that the thing I'd like you to be thinking about, you and John, is to figure out who would be, I wanted to make a decision tonight, but he's not here. Okay, so I wanna, you know, get this thing going. I don't wanna delay anymore. I wanna get somebody in here. So, next meeting,
you wanna post
next
a-
meeting for Tuesday night.
leave that a post.
Let's make a decision for secondary operator.
Friday night if you want, for a quickie, I mean, if that's what you wanna do. Yeah,
Okay.
give us the 48 hours.
Yeah. Did anybody call to see if he's available, the guy that you thought might be a good candidate?
For the permanent operator? Yeah.
Yes, I do
He's
call.
available.
And how quick can he respond or report in?
I would assume in 2 weeks.
Okay.
In all fairness, somebody's gonna give, you know, a notice.
Well, we need to get him involved.
Well, exactly, that's what I'm saying, we wanna have a meeting Friday night, a quickie meeting, you know.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Friday or Tuesday, I don't think it's gonna make that big a
Can
difference.
we invite Penachuk in for next Tuesday night, having a meeting on Tuesday?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll call him tomorrow.
Call him tomorrow. Penachuk's gonna be on the agenda for next Tuesday night.
Okay.
And we don't need to, we can look at making a decision for the secondary operator next Tuesday night. Okay? I hope, unless we have a vacation deficit. Okay? Anything else that's really pressing?
So.
We're all tired and cranky.
Yeah. We've instituted the state mandated water ban.
Okay?
Parker River is in a low flow condition, so we have to. And the contractor has put in about 100 well points out between well 3 and 5 because there's so much groundwater that they couldn't put the water line in from well 3 over to the treatment plant. So they've been pumping since last week to try to pump the groundwater down to a level
Oh,
where they can install the pipework.
any success?
John told me today from Weston and Sampson that they've had some success and they're hoping to be able to start this the end of this week.
Okay, good. How much water are they pumping?
Between 300 and 500 gallons a minute.
Oh my God. It's a good aquifer.
It is.
All right, so that's good update. So they'll figure they have the water table down enough so they can install the line?
That's what they're trying to do.
Yeah. And Brent's happy?
Apparently, he hasn't talked to me much. I finally met him.
Okay.
He was out
But
there
he's been-
yesterday. He
He's
was.
been watching it very
Yeah.
closely.
He was out there and had some suggestions yesterday.
Okay, good. All right.
And we've been progressing with some of the DEP requirements for the fences and vegetation cleaning up and removal at all of the wells.
Okay. All right, so Roy, you got trying to figure out this thing, can
Well, I mean-
off the ground?
We need to talk to John and, you know, I mean, I don't know, I didn't know which way you guys wanted to go. You asked me to go down and talk to her, and I went down and talked, and basically that's what we come up with, so I mean, it's whatever the board wants
Well,
to do.
he'll be a good laborer to help us with the breaks. When the grass stops growing, then can we put him on meter reading? Okay. And then we get some general, you know, tasks to help out here.
He
Yeah.
can't do that because he was hired as a temporary laborer
Well,
for
he
three
I
months.
know.
can't do that now.
But if we change that classification, he might be able to do it still. That's what they're gonna work
Well,
on
he's
before September 30th.
It's gonna have to get posted and he's gonna have to apply, I
Exactly.
believe.
All right?
So you asked me to go down, and I did that, and now it's a board decision, what do you want to do next?
Right now, we
Get
don't have.
John involved.
It's a
we don't
position,
get
not the person.
position. Right. We need to make the position.
Well, Laura said that we have the position. We'll bring it up next meeting. Let's try to get it done, knock it off, okay? All right, so I have a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion.
No, second.
All in favor?